Hey Angela, how are you doing today?
Pretty good, pretty good.
How are you feeling since our last session?
Um, I feel better in general, but the anxiety about the job still hasn't stopped.
Yeah. How are you feeling about the goals we set up in our first in our intake? Do you feel like those goals are still reachable?
I, I'm hoping, that is what I want. I want to be able to accept this promotion and feel good about it. So yeah, that's my goal for therapy.
Okay, so let's go over the goals again. Building confidence at work, feeling more secure in your role in this new position, and feeling like you deserve it, right? Those are our three biggest goals.
Yes.
All
Yes.
right. Okay. Well, let's keep those in mind. Are there any immediate goals happening right or immediate problems happening right now that are like really affecting you that maybe we should keep at the top of this session?
Yeah. My the anxiety that's really causing me the inability to sleep at night. That's a huge problem and it's affecting me at work daily.
Okay. So I just want to make sure when you're going to bed at night, are you turning everything off? Are you just focused on sleeping or are there any distractions?
No, I turn everything off. The phone gets put down, the TV's off, the lights are off. I'm in bed under the covers and just the tossing and the turning.
Maybe it's just the weight of this problem. So hopefully by the end of today's session, maybe just a little bit feels lifted off your shoulders and maybe you're feeling a little bit better for when you're ready to go to sleep tonight.
I hope so.
All right. So when you're at work, how are you feeling? How are you feeling around everybody?
My goodness. I'm feeling like, well, right now, because I'm really tired, I just feeling like I'm not doing anything right. Like I'm just forgetting stuff and making this little silly mistakes. And it's just because I'm just so tired.
I just want you to know that sleep is a really big part of our lives and it really can affect every avenue of our life. And so that may not be you, that really may just be the sleep. And so, that's got to be a problem that eventually we start to tackle. But let's now talk about how do you feel connected to your fellow employees? Do you feel like you have friends at work? Do you feel like an outsider?
Oh, well, I feel like I've made friends. Like we're really good friends. Yeah. I don't feel any stress with, my friends at work. That's pretty good.
Oh, well, that's really great to hear. I mean, that's something really positive about work that we can put in our, our box and it'll make us smile for the rest of the day. I'm really glad that you have people at work.
Yeah.
Um, do you get along with your other supervisors, the people who promoted you?
Yes, I get along with them. As a matter of fact, I've always had really great evaluations from them. There's never been any complaints. That's why they promoted me, but I just don't know if I'm going to be able to do it, especially since I've been making so many mistakes lately.
What kind of mistakes do you feel like you've been making?
Oh, I've been sending letters out with grammatical errors and calculating the wrong numbers, and I can't do that if I'm going to be a supervisor.
Do you feel like those errors are tiny or do you feel like they're big?
Well, they're okay because my supervisor's catching them, but if I'm a supervisor, who's going to catch them? The main boss is going to catch them. I mean, I just can't do those mistakes being a supervisor.
That makes sense. I mean, it's a lot of pressure to feel like you need to perform better than maybe even you were performing before. Maybe that these mistakes are stuff that you've been doing because they're so small, but now that you have this role of supervisor, you're putting yourself under a microscope. Do you think that maybe that could be something that's happening?
I guess I could be, and I never really thought of it like that.
Yeah, tiny errors are something that we make every day. And I don't think that you should ever feel ashamed of any mistake that you make. And I think a good supervisor, in my opinion, is somebody who can admit to their mistakes and even highlight them, because sometimes it makes others feel better to know that the people above them also make mistakes.
I just think that if my supervisor finds out she moved me to supervisor and I'm making these tiny mistakes, they won't want me as supervisor anymore.
That makes sense. Do you feel like that maybe the pressure is really on? Do you feel like maybe they'll regret promoting you.
Yes, that's what I'm feeling.
So the stress of that, plus you don't want anybody to regret giving you that decision.
Yes, I don't want to feel like a failure.
That's really hard. Do you feel like that anywhere else in life or just at work?
Really just at work.
All right. Is there anything outside of work that makes you feel better?
Well, I have a really good support system. I get along really well with my friends, and my parents are very supportive. Um, I just want to be able to do it on my own. I mean, I want to be successful. I want everybody to see me as successful, you know, on my own. And although they're a great support system, I just don't feel like, I don't know.
What are 5 things at work that you feel that you excel at?
Well, I would say that up until now, I've had really good evaluations. So my reports have always been on time. They didn't used to have errors. I got along really great with my supervisor, my coworkers. Um, I did really great work.
So you're timely, you have great interpersonal relationships, great relationships with your leadership, and you're not used to making so many small mistakes. What do you think are some things that maybe you could do to catch those mistakes?
I guess I could reread things over again. Maybe take a second or a third glance um, before handing it in. I mean, I guess I could do that, but I don't want stuff to be late then. So it's really hard.
Yeah. It's like you don't want to sacrifice your timeliness just to catch a few grammatical errors. Do you have like spell check and stuff like that that you could use and utilize?
I do. I use spell check, but it seems like I'm just a lot of words are just words, but just spelled wrong, you know? It's,
Yeah.
instead of shame, it's sham, and the spell check doesn't catch it. So
I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I make those mistakes too, but I really think that you should keep in mind that everybody makes mistakes and you can't be holding yourself up to such a high standard. You don't want to hold yourself to any standard that you wouldn't hold your what's the word for it? The people you're in charge of, your supervisees.
I guess so. I mean, I
If
try not
somebody
to.
I'm sorry. If somebody turned in a report and they had a few spelling errors, would that upset you or would you just correct them for them?
I mean, I would just correct them and send it back and try to problem solve about how they could, make sure that it doesn't have so many grammatical errors. But I guess I don't want my supervisor to think she has to still correct me and I'm a supervisor.
So those other areas we talked about, interpersonal relationships, relationship with your supervisor, and timeliness, are those still 3 things that you're excelling at?
It was until lately, yeah.
Okay. Do you feel like your timeliness has struggled as well?
Yes, I feel like a lot of it has struggled. Um, yeah.
Okay. Well, I want you to leave today's session remembering that you have 5 really great strengths. And right now, sleep is hindering those strengths from excelling. And I want you to focus on giving yourself 10 minutes at least, maybe 30 minutes if you have the time. I know you've got the little one at home, but 10 minutes at least of just downtime at home with no phone, where you're just reflecting on the fact that you earned your position. Even if right now you're struggling, you earned it. And so now we just got to get you back on your feet and in a place where you can do your job without feeling insecure. We want to build your confidence back up and give you the strength to perform.
Oh, that really sounds great. I would love to have that confidence.
Well, I'm glad, and we'll see if like the me time is helping with your sleep next session,
Okay.
and we'll tackle all those other things. I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate talking to you. Bye.